I'm kind of glad because you and I, Wendy, were getting on an age, and you always want the next generation to take over. And like a lot of times, we didn't see them in the past few years, and now they seem to be popping up. And I'm sort of glad there's these wise, spiritually minded people that they can take over when we're not around anymore.
And don't say that.
Well, when we transition to the next game, next ride.
We got a lot to do yet, Grant.
I was actually doing an interview last night, and the guy actually played. Have you ever heard? I always push it all the time. That Bill Hicks. It's called The Ride. So I was talking about it last night. He said, "Hang on," he plays the whole thing. It's 2 minutes long. You got to watch it. It's Bill Hicks, and it's called The Ride. It's about life, and the guy died of pancreatic cancer very, very young. I don't think he was even 30 or whatever, but he was considered the fourth best comedian in the world. But man, he must have had some sort of experience because he nailed it. He just like in 2 minutes he spelled the whole story of what life's all about. It's just unreal.
And you were saying it as well about how y'all are laying the race down before us for the new generation, like the baton, and we're passing it on for the big picture.
Yeah, he talks about the he says your life is like a ride at an amusement park, and you get on it. And it's so good, you actually think it's real. And you go up and down, around and around, and the lights are going. And then some people, they've been on the ride before, and they say, hey, I think this is just a ride. And then they say, what we do with those people? We kill them. The guy says, I got a lot of money invested in this ride. What do you mean? It's just a ride. And it is. And then he talks about the choice between love and fear at the end. And, you put bigger locks on your door, or you have love and you get rid of all the defense spending and feed all the people in the world, and we can grow within each other, and just fantastic. Just 2 minutes long. It's on YouTube. Bill Hicks, The Ride. But this guy played it last night. It was so good.
She's having trouble getting in, so I'm trying to help her.
Oh. Wow.
So I love that background. It looks like we were just spending 6 months in Hawaii, and we just made it to Colorado about 2 months ago. So
oh wow. Like yeah, that's not my backyard though. I usually have a waterfall. I should put my waterfall on.
I should change mine to something other than the kitchen cupboards.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Maybe you need the green screen to do that though.
I know.
That is actually Wendy's green screen right there.
There you go. Yeah, I've used that when I was at taking care of Desta's place. I was doing some from the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
I actually Skype. I do have a background in one, but when I was teaching, it would only take me. So then if I held up a card, it wouldn't show the card.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I finally got rid of it. Got rid of it all. For some reason, she's still having trouble.
Oh, she just has to click on the link.
I know. I just sent her the link again to her personally to see if she could find it.
Yeah, she just sent it to her email, and she just clicks on it, and because I don't have a waiting room or anything, so she'll come right in.
You click on.
And I notified everybody else in the group. I don't know if anybody else is going to show up.
Click on the link at the top.
Do you feel any fishes swimming by your legs, Grant?
Yeah. I always tell people this is my backyard. Actually, my backyard is like 3 feet of snow in it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So
we got a little bit of snow here, not much.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, there it's all sort of like I was in Boulder the one time, and it was like, I don't know, it was like 12 inches of snow or whatever, and the next day it was all gone. It's like all the bikers, they just slow down for a little bit, and that's amazing. I can't believe how many bikers, but I guess because the Olympic team is there in Boulder or whatever, so everybody's got a bike, and it's like they all got their outfits, and it's like it must be a high-end profession. You need a second job just to afford to buy all the stuff for the bike.
That's right. It looks like it too.
No one else coming in?
Oh, I don't know. I think I sent it to everybody, and a couple people responded. We'll have to figure who we're going to do next. We can maybe do one of these every week or every couple of weeks, because I know that well, Jeff we've done before. We can do Jeff again. He's agreed to do a 1 hour lesson on that thing he's using with the photographs.
Oh yeah, Leonie was telling me that. Yeah,
that's.
I'll resend it to the orbology group.
Yeah, I have a few breakdowns as well about different ways to capture that realm and many methods.
Wow, there you go. That's what we like to hear, because that's what people are looking for. And of course, it counters all the naysayers, which you can't really get rid of. But at least we know. I mean, because I saw some patterns like the mist and the mist and the beams and the stuff like that, which seem to, once you look at enough big collections that people have, you start seeing these things. But everybody wants to be able to manifest them.
Exactly. And that's what I'm really gifted at there, on cue and demand. Really neat. Last night we had a big physical blue orb that was like for 8 seconds flying around me, and then electricity came out of it. It actually startled me because it shot out. I said, "Whoa!" and
Wow.
and really was unexpected. But yeah, we have it very often, and I'm sure even on here, the high chance, very high.
Yeah. Wow. If you get any real good blue on, send them to me, because I'm doing a lecture in Cincinnati next year. I usually don't lecture in the States because there's a lot of trouble with Homeland Security trying to get in the country. But I said, "What's the topic?" And they said, "Good versus evil aliens." I said, "Well, count me in. I'll pay my own way to come lecture." And so the U.S. government is trying to demonize blue orbs. That they call them the blue meanies, and if you get near them, they'll give you a brain tumor and stuff like that. So I'm collecting all these blue orb photographs, and I'm going to go through them in about 2 minutes. I click, and nobody got killed there. Nobody got eaten. It's like
that's right, 100%.
But that's what they need. They need to scare people. That's what they tried to do with the Canadians when we were here. They tried to get us to go the military route, to say, they're invading our airspace and stuff. And the Canadians said, "Nope, we want a scientific investigation." That was it. They left. They would.
She just let me think. She said Zoom may not be supported on your browser, and she can't get in.
What's her browser?
I don't know. Suck.
Maybe she's got Fox or some.
Yeah.
What is your browser?
Unless she clicks on it, because it may not be supported, but it probably is.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yep, the browser itself.
Did she try to click on it? It's not like she's gonna get a virus or anything. She doesn't have Google Chrome or.
It takes a while to get to Australia and then back again.
Oh, yeah.
Safari,
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and if that's the only browser she's got, well, then because we did use Zoom interviews with her and her grandson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Safari on my computer, but Safari on certain cell phones won't go through on Zoom. And but she can open up a Chrome browser and copy and paste it.
She got a brand new iPad. That's probably what she's doing.
Maybe she can go on one of the old computers, and we can start, and she can join us when she gets here. Looks like you got a lock in your cupboard there. Have you got drugs in there or something? It looks like it's hanging from there. It looks like a lock hanging from there.
That's a control for the awning up front. I have there's a huge awning out there.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the lake right out there.
Holy cow, you got no snow. What's going on?
I know, none. We had snow in December, and then.
Wow.
Okay.
Hey, Wendy, by any chance, did you ever look through the Chinese curriculum I sent you to translate that was talking about the brain screen?
Yes, that was very cool. Very, very cool.
Awesome, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So, Grant, there's this Chinese researcher. It's called New Space Lab 1026, I believe, and they talk about this brain screen. It goes past as far as we have so far on remote viewing and blindfold training, and it's an actual screen they see behind the pineal gland. They start off with children, but with it, whenever they actually see like a matrix realm, right, like right here, and whenever they touch things or move things in this realm, it'll move in real life right then and there. And they did all these tests where they'll tell a kid to imagine your puppy ripping a paper in half, and then they'll tell the girl, imagine your doll that has scissors cutting a paper, and you see like paw marks on one cutting in half, and then scissors on the other one happening right before their eyes, and teleporting objects by using the brain screen. And whatever they did in the brain screen would happen in real life on the exact time. It's very interesting, and there's a lot of information on it.
This is Chinese, you're saying?
Yes, New Space 1026. a Chinese research lab, and they took it to a whole nother level. I got more articles where this lady creates a UFO in space and then brings it down in the physical plane on Earth in front of everybody. And there's a
Give it
lot
to me
more.
again.
New Space. It was New Space 1026. I believe it's 1026 the number.
Because we have some contacts in China that and I know the Chinese. I have a friend who just died. He was a producer. He did some documentaries in the 70s and 80s, and he was going to be sent to China. The CIA was watching these kids doing telekinesis and stuff like that. And then when they went there, they didn't go there. Some other people went there and debunked the whole thing by saying, well, these kids on command couldn't do it. But of course, they've got them, scared and all this kind of stuff. And my friend was going to go with a film crew and film these kids doing this kind of stuff. So the Chinese have been into this. This is kind of interesting. And IONS, you're familiar with the IONS Institute. They actually want to study this. And I think they were talking to Rob Freeman. Were they talking to you, Wendy, too?
No, they haven't. No.
Oh, they were talking to Rob about getting. And I said to Rob, I think you need, if you're going to go to IONS, I think you need young kids because, I mean, older people, I mean, the young kids, or if you get the thing like this thing, they may even know about it. But I mean, the potential is there for studying this stuff. And IONS wants to look at it. And so does Leslie Kane. Do you know that story, Wendy?
No.
Yeah, Leslie Kane was, she was dealing with the woman in the UK. And she was trying to get us to keep it quiet because she's working on a Netflix series on all this stuff.
Oh, okay.
So when you get Leslie Kane from New York Times doing it, because she saw the kids, I guess, in Great Britain that were blindfolded reading the books and stuff like that, and she was amazed by that.
Yeah, Dean Radin actually approached us when we brought Robin.
Well, that's what I said. Yeah, Dean, so you were approached.
And he wanted us to go down, and we weren't open at that point. We were at the final stages, and so
because you got to be good to.
You got to be solid.
To get the numbers, especially if you're on cue, because then you go into you go in there and go into a big lab, and then suddenly you're not thinking about what you're supposed to be thinking about, and
exactly
the left brain takes over.
Well, it's a stress factor, and as soon as you get stressed, it's like forget it.
Oh, here comes Joan.
Cool. No, Leonie said she can't in. She tried another computer and she couldn't get in. So I don't know. Okay. I don't know what's going on.
Hey Joan, you look younger and wiser today.
How about me? I've never seen me before.
I thought that was special.
It works.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so we're recording here. Okay, so let's get started here. Welcome everybody who's joined here to the what do I call it? The Orb Academy of Arts and Sciences, because everybody uses that term, so we might as well use it too. And then they'll think we're actually doing scientific research, which we are. So welcome, and we have I wanted to do some interviews with some people. First, I had thought about Marilyn and Jeff. I've already interviewed, and we interviewed Chase. But the Orb group is probably one of the most what would you call it? There's more chatter on that group than any group I've ever seen. It's like, wow, people are really into it. So I thought we might bring into because I don't know if they've seen the interviews I did on YouTube. And they may not have seen Nico's interview. So that's what I thought we could do is I've done a lot of this broadcasting where I put it on YouTube and Nico's got it, where you put it out there for people and try to raise the consciousness. And so if we can get a few of the other people to interview, because everybody's got a story on the group by the sounds of it, and just every week or every 2 weeks, just get together and we can ask questions and they can release what they want to release, and we can go from there. But the first one we're going to do is Nico here, and I'll let Wendy introduce him because she's the one that discovered him. I've been doing the same thing. I've been going around to the big orb groups on Facebook, and I look at who's posting what, and then I see someone's posting this really good stuff, and I go, and then I just invite them to the group, say, hey, come over to the group, and try to, because these people are all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, Nico actually found me.
Oh, is that right? Oh, wow.
Yeah,
through the blindfold reading?
Yeah, he came onto first we friended, and then I invited him onto my site. And when he came onto my site, then he contacted me and we had a long chat, and it was like phenomenal, the stuff that he was telling me. And then he started sending me videos, which were phenomenal. Again, I was blown away. And the orb one is the unbelievable one, which everybody on the orb group would love, is because he just can call them in.
Very bad.
So, yeah. So tell me, why don't you tell us about your orb videos, Nico?
Would love to. So when I start off with the cameras for recording as well, for people to see this at any given time, and we've done this also through Zoom sessions where they're blasted through the screen, and we'll even do this here, and everyone's able to see them as players going by, or even if they record it, we have videos of people have cameras while the Zoom's going on, and it's all be able to see. So here's a great way to start it off. Whenever somebody's recording with the camera, of course, we know that with the one dimension, they call it a point, right? You've probably seen that before, like a point. So whenever you have your phone on focus mode, it's like a point. But whenever you blur your phone, and you know how your phone gets blurry if you stick your hand by it or different things, and a blur starts to happen on the phone, it's like the peripheral vision when you're looking straight, but you're aware of the side. Then the orbs on your phone will become bars, and you see them in real life like darts flying by, like look like bugs really fast.
Okay.
So that's an effect that someone could do to get from the one dimension to the second dimension, which they call a bar, right? And now there's the third dimension, which we've heard many times that Grant was mentioning earlier about people will use mist, water, smoke, and different things like that. Some people put a little drop of water or some oil on their lens for a camera effect for different things. And but there's a difference on dust, and which we explain here, which we know, and orb phenomenon as well. So we know that electrons are going counterclockwise, and anything that goes counterclockwise is a rotation that brings decaying. They call it the spiral of death. It also makes emotions come out of the body. When people feel tired and the whole 9 yards, there's a lot of it. And emotions are temporary. You need a reason to be upset, etc. And they bring certain types of orbs. And then you have feelings, pretty much love, joy, gratitude. And emotions are chemical reactions of the brain that can bring a certain types of orbs, and then feelings bring a certain type of orbs. Feelings, again, of love, gratitude, and joy. Feelings bring energy clockwise. Once energy comes clockwise, you're bringing energy in, and the electrons go from counterclockwise to clockwise. Like they say, there's nothing new under the sun. The sun is counterclockwise. There's a Bible verse that says that Satan follows the course of this earth, or consciousness follows the course of this earth, or the matrix, and it's going counterclockwise. But whenever we're walking in righteousness and we're living by feelings of love, gratitude, and joy, and we're bringing energy in, the electrons turn into a wave. They expand. And it's like the double slit experiment. When you have a conscious observer that's living by feelings at the 7th dimension, consciousness only runs to the 6th. Consciousness is images, shapes, colors, forms, brands, titles, ideas, etc., etc. So when we're living by the deepest feelings that are indescribable, these deep sensations, where we observed in different types of religions, different types of practices, there's this phenomenons that happen of miracles with the collective mind, because there's mirror neurons, impartation, quantum entanglement, everyone's in agreement, and it's a lot more easier. But when we get to the place of doing it one-on-one, when we're able to not collapse the waves of potentiality, of miracles, of supernatural, paranormal, then this is where we get to experiment and play and study consciousness as a spiritual observer. So we're setting the cameras up in many ways. So consciousness runs at 60 frames per second. So people can set their camera at 30 frames per second by photo burst mode that they can do. They can slow the photons down. People have done it in water and mist, as Grant was saying earlier. People will use smoke, and you're able to see better as well. But I've used none of that at all, but I've done in the past experimenting and grown a lot more from observing these videos. Also, testimonials of watching people with orbs, and you keep watching them, and they're explaining some things and teachings that it's all electromagnetics, it's waves, and the informational field. So even just hearing this stuff brings faith for someone to do it and acting off of it. So we know that whenever we're looking at the sky, the blue sky, and you see all the static going around, those negative ion biophotons in the air, the ambient energy, that whenever someone's gazing at it, and then they start to use feelings, or they lose themselves in it, then they'll start to see waves. Or if they take it, they can move it on the tree and make the water move with just the mind connection alone. The secondary consciousness of the field and a human's primary consciousness with their tactical senses can engage from a spiritual observer, and effects and results will happen. then they'll see shooting stars. And we've done even predictions where the shooting star in the daytime or nighttime is going to come from the right to the left in 3, 2, 1, and even over the phone. And even bringing crafts down and beings being summoned in, different type of extraterrestrials will come out of these glitter that is like red, blue, green sparks in the air, and they'll come out and manifest themselves. And we've built in great relationships, communication, and real deal serious. So I'm talking fast and I talk a lot. It's how I move. So I'll pause there.
Well, no, you may not talk as fast as I do. I mean, I'm famous, so that's good. That's enthusiasm coming out.
It is.
Fascinating. I missed the first part of that, but that's so how you discovered this? By watching other people's orb stuff plus your own experience? You told me that you had experiences sort of back through your life, that this is part of your tradition or your life goal or your life mission or whatever. So explain that a little bit.
Definitely. So my great grandparents, they came from a side of what people would deem and call as voodoo, with a different type of crafts and trees and animals moving and dolls and all the rest. So different type of stuff was happening. And then my parents were converting into religion because everyone's looking for an answer. You know how it goes. Everything circles around. And then it circles around all over again, being sanctified and cleaned out where it comes to the basics of energy and how energy works. And then, so I started seeing it in the Bible, and I started looking in the Quran because my brother was raised like that. And we started seeing it in ancient texts, and we grew bigger by experimenting and playing around. And I also, I grew up with this stuff. We always seen it in photographs and videos, and a lot of the practices that we did where I seen my cousins and my uncle levitating and flying into at funerals we had, and try to throw each other into tombstones and just wild stuff like that. And then my mother levitating people and her levitating as well. And then I've gotten in contact with a lot of great masters from all over the world that we use translators. So we built relationships over 7 years, and they're walking on water, levitating, flying, and we exchange a lot of practices, do it over the computer, just like the blindfold stuff. And we've been working in a private community, but now we're launching a public platform coming up in March. So we're teaching everyone just as simple as the blindfold stuff, like doing telekinesis over the Zoom, affecting that area, levitating an object, and then we'll take it to events. But so yeah, I was saying earlier, and I want to recap on this as well, about when we have the one dimension as an orb, it's like a point or a ball when we're looking at the one dimension, and then the second dimension is like a bar. So whenever we have our camera, once again, and we're seeing the orb, it's like you're focusing, we see the orb. And then whenever we blur the camera by putting our hand in front of it or something happens, there's a blur effect, then the orb turns into a bar. And we recorded this and experimented, even with the same orb we'll follow, we'll make the camera blur, and then all of a sudden that same orb will turn into a bar. And then when you see with your naked eye or with your eyes closed, you've probably seen on some of the videos, we'll have people test, close your eyes, where the orbs point to and where are they going? And then we can see it on the camera. They're following the exact orbs we see on the camera. They can do it with their eyes closed. Then we open them up. Then we work in harmony of attracting orbs in by feelings, bringing clockwise energy in, and the orbs are attracted to it. Or then there's counterclockwise where the orbs will burst out. And if you do them simultaneously with feelings and emotions, you're able to like be one with the orb. Like I have a video where I'm twisting my finger and the orb is going like this, and I'm moving it. Actually goes into a grocery bag, and a bag starts moving. or magicians using it to like move stuff around, and you see the orbs having these effects. But a lot playing with the camera. Then we always wonder, why do we see these paranormal creatures like a potato camera? That, as they say, it's because we got a 3-dimensional camera trying to capture a 4th-dimensional entity, so it comes out blurry. But there's ways that people use mirrors, reflections because of this realm, but it goes past the logic of those that are saying that's just a reflection, or that's just an element of water causing this to happen.
Yeah.
But with where someone was asking a great question earlier in the chat, as y'all may have seen, about the rod or a spirit fish. And there's a cool video of this guy that tries to capture a spirit fish, and he takes like mud and water on a mountain. And he's using emotions of like adrenaline, and he's throwing it in the air, and he sees that the spirit fish like to come and eat it. So there was another video of a baseball player, and he's running to the next base, and a spirit rod, that rod tornado looking orb, hits him in the hip, like goes through his body, and the guy, he reacts and grabs his hip, but he keeps running, and then water falls on his hip and down his leg, and then that rod goes all the way and picks the water back up. So it's material. Even a thought is material. Consciousness is material. So it shows these type of patterns we looked at, like bugs cannot exist in negative 16-degree weather that is flying, maybe a dragonfly at the most for a heavy bug. And so with it is we're showing that it's going through walls, it's past the degrees of temperatures and negative that bugs can't survive in. And we have all these tests and proving a lot of stuff, or everyone would get together and manifest orbs. And there's ways to go about it, as everyone in the group knows different ways, and we're all studying and experimenting together.
Well, I just want to let you know that we just gone live to Facebook. I figured we might as well get this thing out here. Some people may have some questions there because you mentioned the chat. And so the people are that are joining by Facebook right now, we're talking to Nico Morales. And this is one of the most intelligent guys I know that is understanding this field of what's going on. So I thought it was so important. I thought it would just click it on. The full version of this will be on YouTube channels, Nico's and mine, and probably Wendy's. So you'll get a chance to see it. But I thought I'd just jump in here and start going to Facebook. I'll ask one more question, then I'll go to Wendy. In terms of the we, who is the we, and describe the platform that you're planning to set up in March.
Great. So we is myself, my fiance, and our fellow masters from around the world, from Russia, China, Switzerland, Greece, California, and Wendy may know some of them as well, and also Nikolai Marino, which we know as well. And they all have their special gifts and abilities that they're cultivated and able to teach thousands and thousands of people to bring it to the next level of human potential. And first, of course, is always identity, the marriage of the spirit and the soul, the two becoming one, the bridegroom, knowing who we are as a spiritual being. So, we're always choosing love first. And then the metaphysical abilities are just side effects of who we are. So we have maturity, so we don't lose ourselves in power and become egotistic in a way where we're drowning each other and hurting each other with abilities, which has happened in the past with different, stories and stuff. So on these platforms, it's interactivity, it's apps, it's social media groups. So interactivity, of course, is there's a video here. What is extrasensory perception? And then another thing will pop up. Is it A, B, C, or D while there's a live thing going on? There's report cards. There's Zoom sessions of telekinetic abilities, the whole 9 yards of everything, doing it right over the Zoom sessions so people can take it to the next level so they can grasp it by the hand. Because a lot of people are left in the dust with courses and things that they buy and they don't have anything tangible. There's in-person events. We'll do walking on water event at a pool. And once someone sees one person do it, it's mirror neurons impartation. The next person can do it. The first will be last. The last will be first. So we can grow at an expedited speed. We're tired of hiding things for years and years. 2023, we're bringing it to the table. It's took a lot of trust and loyalty with everyone here to bring this, and a lot of faith and courage of persecution. So
I'm embarrassed that I haven't heard of you yet. I mean, like, unbelievable. This is like we were discussing before, like this thing with the Chinese that I mentioned that my friend was going to go into China I guess it'd be 20 years ago to film these Chinese kids. That you hear about this stuff, but I didn't realize that we were actually going to talk to somebody that sort of understands this. So this is really exciting to me. Wendy, go ahead with what you want to ask.
It's when he contacted me and he started telling me about that you're helping Nikolai and Marina set up a whole website and everything so they can become more public and seen by more people, because right now it's really difficult to get a hold of them. And I thought that was amazing. And Nikolai's going to do the teleportation at the event also, isn't he, Nico?
That's right. It's going to be see-through walls, teleportation, and also empty force, pretty much the biofield, moving somebody like a puppet. And those are the three things we're going to be going through over the event. And we may have a possible extension during that same event to bring on telekinesis and levitation education and the whole 9 yards on that, because we don't want to drown people with too much. So yes, exactly. We're doing a year promoting and marketing to gather enough people for this and really bring it on.
Yeah.
How can we help you?
Thank you very much. So I would love to do another Zoom sometime as well, where we can go over slideshows, organize some things up, and see where you guys have the best mobility and movement of some plans of actions. That'd be great.
Wow. Yeah, I'd love to help you in any way. And how do people participate in this March event? when things get
Yes, sir. So what we're doing is we're doing podcasts with a lot of the teachers that are on here, the mystical teachers, and we'll be doing links down in the description for everyone to hop on and get ready.
wow,
Mhm.
exciting. Wendy, you got
Um, I was just really excited when he was talking about Nikolai and Marina, because they were one of the people that we took our course with, and Nikolai's amazing in what he can do in teleportation, and people don't even realize that he does teach this in Russia. And who else? How many other people do you have coming?
Onto the board with all the platform, the Mystic Masters and everybody, we have 7.
7? Okay, very
Yes.
cool. Very,
That
very
including Nikolai Marina.
not
So
including them.
that'll be 9 together with them.
Yeah.
wow.
So far,
Can you
but
mention
there's
some of these people who they are? Because I seem to be totally clued out here.
we do have them on a private mode right now,
Okay,
but
okay.
but we would love to get together with y'all and for everybody coming on, and then we'll release them on podcast. But if you guys want to do some Zoom whenever you guys are free within the next weeks or so,
Yeah.
I'll be happy to introduce you to them and you meet them yourselves and get involved.
This
I
is
would-
extremely exciting stuff that you're talking about here. Like,
I
wow,
would
I
love
mean,
to be involved, Nico. I really would love to be involved. Sounds amazing.
wow,
Thank you all so much. Please.
Yeah.
it's like a gift from heaven. I mean, having you come on here, like, unbelievable. I saw some of your videos. I didn't have much time to look at them, but I was pretty amazed, and I figured, like, wow. I mean, you know, so what anything we can do to help you, and you can help our people, because we just put it together just for a group for people to sort of
Yes.
discuss things. And it's, as you see, it's pretty active, and some people are working on the camera stuff. And I don't know if you've talked to Bob McGuire. He used to be with the Institute for Defense Analysis. He's a mathematician who's just retired, pretty smart guy. And he and his girlfriend have now gotten into it, and he's down the rabbit hole. I'm sure he would be able to help you quite a bit in terms of you know, the science, what people are saying in the scientific world, and his background. But I'm sure that you would, because he's just desperate to find out how this thing works, because he saw it. And it's the old deal is, when it happens to you, it's a different story. I mean, you're down the rabbit hole. And so we'll do what we can. And I think this is absolutely fantastic that we can.
Yeah.
One more thing as well is I did put a GoFundMe out here for everyone to support and have special seats. We've converted over 37 different languages on the website, on the courses, on interactivity. Everyone even has access apps. We're making it so easy, and you can imagine the hard work behind it. So it's
Oh
been
my goodness.
something.
I'm just shocked. I haven't heard about this before. And
Yeah.
I think other people would be shocked too.
Yeah.
Elaborate a little bit more about you know, the demonstrations. You've done a lot of these because these are things I remember. I don't know if you know the story, but there's a guy, he's the NASA guy. He's known as Tim, I would better not give his real name, Tyler D. He was in a book called American Cosmic. And he's a guy that is in this NASA office. They brought him in to do UFOs, and he does other paranormal stuff. And he had gone to the Vatican. He'd been taken to the Vatican to the secret files. And what he wanted to look at was levitation. And what he was looking at is the files of all the famous levitators, to see if there was any clues in how they were doing it. So I'm sure he'll be watching your stuff. This is, I mean, as I said, this is revolutionary. Back in the 80s, it was known that the CIA was looking into this stuff because, I mean, for their own diabolical needs, I guess. But these kids in China seem to have it down, and you were mentioning these kids. So I'd be interested to know, like, you're talking levitation, you're talking telekinesis, what other kind of, the walking on water, is that pretty easy to do? It's almost like the fire thing.
With the walking on water, what we're doing with that, let me give you a great example. So we have a lot of people probably know the aerokinesis channels out here. A great friend of mine is Michael. And when he does hydrokinesis, he's using aerokinesis on the water. So it looks like Moses when he splits the water, but he's not doing hydrokinesis. He's doing aero on the water. So the effect looks very strong. It looks like he could put us on a little boat and zoom us away just like that. And we'll go selling out pretty fast. So same thing with the walking on water, is we're using a levitation for that as well, with the effect of walking on water, which is the same, balancing on the air and then balancing on the water until we can turn the water maybe into solid or whatever the science is behind that. But a lot of the protocols are the same. For an example, if there's a pastor, a prophet, a witch doctor, a voodoo priest, they all use the same protocols for the prophetic or mind reading or psychic. but not everyone dialogues vertical and with the spirit and the soul, as in the spiritual observer lives by the deepest feelings that are indescribable of love, gratitude, joy, etc. And we're going clockwise, but when we do the abilities, we go counterclockwise as it's pushing out for, it's all metaphysics, of course, on that area. So all the same, some people spend a lot of their currency of to manifest a miracle, or is that what we call it, metaphysical ability?
Yeah.
They'll spend a lot of their energy that they have, and not everyone charges up all the time and goes into a deep spiritual practice. So even meditation, you deal with consciousness. You're working with images sometimes, and some people do go to the void in their meditations, but meditation is not even a spiritual practice in itself. So it charge somebody up a little bit, we can say, but a lot of people spend more than what they have. There's a cool Bible verse I like to share with everybody. It says, "This kind only comes out by praying and fasting." So I tell some people sometimes, "Hey, well, I watch your healing videos, Nico. You pull people out of wheelchairs, blind eyes, etc., cancer and AIDS and all that. But it's hard for me to pull somebody out of a wheelchair and ask them, what is their dialogue with their soul? How often are you happy and feeling successful 24/7? We should never take a break from the spiritual world. It's never worth it. And it's a lot of fun. It's not a chore, but it's our home when we're living in the highest vibrations and in happiness. And it's contagious and you can feel it. And the air becomes so thick, books will fall off the wall and dust would turn to gold. And it will double in its weight and it becomes tangible. And it's incredible and fun and real.
Unreal. How long did it take you to develop all this? Because this sounds like something that's you're pretty young for developing this kind of practice.
Yes, sir. It took very fast, I would say. Whenever I got myself caught up in how to do things with mental and mind training, it takes a long time. But when I actually live by mirror neurons, as in Grant, for example, let's say Grant's hanging out with 20 extraterrestrials in real life for dinner, and I say, "Man, I love Grant. I am Grant. I identify as Grant," and I start feeling what it feels like to be Grant, and I start to carry your vibration and oneness, and things start to happen fast by faith. And it really does, and it sounds crazy, and nobody would take that extra mile of the simplicity of doing it.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
So I started watching videos of people grow arms out, like or growing legs out on YouTube videos, and then I go, if they can do it, I can do it. And I start to watch, and I start to feel confident that that's me on the video that I'm watching. And then I'll actually just grab my camera, go out and do it. And then when it happens, I'm thinking people are pulling my leg and pranking me. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "I ain't doing nothing. What's happening to me?"
Wow.
Really neat.
You've got a website. People will be wondering now, who is this guy? And you've got a website that has some pretty wild videos on it. So give us your website and what you've got on there.
So the public one we have now that's available is theschoolofmystics.com, theschoolofmystics.com. We also have an app on Android. iPhone's about to launch on that one under the same name, The School of Mystics.
Wow.
And all social media platforms, The School of Mystics. And there's a lot of free teachings for everybody to check it out. I'm always giving freely from my heart, and even on these talks and tactics and everything else.
Cool.
Good for you. Good for you. Wendy?
Yeah, there's one video that he did I remember watching, and one you healed a fellow. His legs were, one leg was shorter than the other.
Yes.
And I watched that video, and seriously, Grant, his leg leveled out in the video, like before, like in minutes, then wasn't it? In minutes, and he could get up and walk around normally.
Let's show a real example here with any one of y'all or anybody here that wants to show their videos. If not, it's fine, but they can test Audible. But we'll start off with the arms as well. We'll do go dust, orbs, and arms under 3 seconds. All of it to happen. So you can start off by taking your arms like this or like this, but we'll do it like this. And then look up and see if it's equal or not. And maybe one's a little higher, one's a little shorter. What do you notice on your arms? If one's shorter arm or longer?
My left is longer.
My right's long.
Okay, left and right. So and just stick them out just like this, and actually have the camera show where you can see it. See if you can. And watch this, and be aware of the orbs as well as you relax. So if you want, you could take a deep breath and relax. You don't have to, because a lot of experience. So yep, you have yours all the way out, Wendy? Yep.
Yep.
So just like this. And you can feel that in your body.
I can feel it. I can feel it.
Mhm, mhm.
And if I want, I can speak. I can see left and right arm come out now, 100%, every bit. And we just decree gold dust for the electrons to go clockwise and waves to come right now, because we're living by the deepest feelings right now, and in gratitude and in deep joy, and celebrating together in divine communion, divine communication, a live conversation. And we even sparkle gold dust and orbs to even be, and we're just aware of the orbs. As you're always here, we're always surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, always being observed and in fellowship as we're that. So orbs come now. And just be aware of whatever you're seeing or anything like that. Or even an angel to touch Wendy on her shoulder.
Mhm.
About that, yeah. But very tangible and practical at a second, and it also depends on someone's face. You can also check your hands and open them up and see if you notice any sparkles or
Yeah.
anything different and tangible.
Totally felt that. Totally felt it. Amazing.
Oh yeah, and you can see the difference of how they've grown out. And,
Yeah, I did. As soon as I brought it back, I noticed it right away. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
and everyone could do this, of course. That was something simple that can stir somebody up in the streets. If someone doesn't have a vibration where all of us are at right now, we're really out here, then that would really inspire and awaken somebody. Goes, what was that? And you get to really minister life into their life, and show them that life is not just about the material, but the immaterial.
Mhm.
Do you do that on the street? There's a guy that does that. I think he's actually a magician though, but do you go on the street and sort of dazzle people and
That's right. Everybody, all the time, as a lifestyle, everywhere. I go take the trash out, and I see an animal. That animal is gonna be my friend, and we're gonna have fun. But everybody, even the electrons and the ions in the air,
Wow.
Wow.
having joy and fun and laughing is a great setting for miracle. It really
Yeah.
raises the vibration, and
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, we're on a wave surfing.
And
Wow.
you've done the blindfold reading. Wendy, maybe explain. I've got to jump away for 2 minutes here, but can you explain, Wendy, the blindfold reading for people who aren't familiar with it, and then the connection with Nico, whether I'm sure Nico does it, and how that's working?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I haven't seen anything on. I've seen you training people, but I actually did a girl today that is Heidi, who is blind in one eye and losing sight on her left, and I did a training session with her today, and she was amazing. She was amazing. I think a lot of it is to get them into the right attitude of love, joy, happiness, and I managed to do that today, and it was really good. You put them blindfold on, and you make them relax or whatever, but the goal is to let them see with their mind. And I see you're training that too, Nico.
Same methods as you, same thing. I watch your videos as well. You inspire me with a lot of your wisdom. I use what you're freely teaching out there as well, and it works. And I love the exercises that you guys use, and then we start getting unique with it, right? All of a sudden, Wendy has this here. Wendy has a naked mannequin in the background in her videos, and now it's on my videos. I've never seen that. I was using that for a healing thing, but a lot of the comments were like, "What's up with the naked mannequin?" And they forgot about the blindfold training. But you really keep them better than I can.
Yeah,
But
we found that surprise and laughter. The more we laugh, the more you open. It just happens when you start laughing. Yeah, there was one instance when I was training Rob, and we both got into hysterics, and all of a sudden Rob just saw everything. It was pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
and then that amazing flow. It's like one after another after another.
Yeah, it's just truly amazing. And at the point of just, I've startled him, and then right after I startled him, I broke into hysterics, and then he just started seeing. It was pretty incredible. Yeah. So yeah, I only saw one video of you teaching it, and the person was getting had Nikolai's a sheet of paper with the squares and crosses and stuff.
Yeah. Her name was Wendy as well.
Oh, was it? Okay. And I saw you said something that intrigued me there, is that wherever you focused, your energy goes to. So, and you were asking him to try to find the cross, and you told him to focus on what he wanted, and the energy would send him to it. Is that what you said?
Yes, that's right. There's two things to that. I actually have a whole playlist of blindfold videos, tons of them. They're all really unique.
Okay.
We use all kind of crazy, amazing exercises and methods.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, there's two things. When a lot of people talk about the law of attraction, or where attention goes, energy follows, but energy works in spirals and vortexes. So here's the thing here is whenever we're trying to manifest something, and even with the blindfold stuff, you know how it goes too. It's whenever you like relax and forget about it, that's when it works, of course.
Exactly.
Right. And it depends on how the demand is, the way and the manner. So there's consciousness won't sell it to you if you assume that you already have it. And there's a lot of teachings about use your spiritual senses, believe that you already have it, and then you go through a bridge of events and you manifest it. But consciousness would not sell it to the person if they already have that. Then consciousness would not be a need, and consciousness likes to bully a lot. And consciousness is a tool, of course, that serves us. But a lot of the times we let the power of suggestions, the chatter in our head that thinks it's us, boss us around, and we end up going through a roller coaster ride with it. But yes, with that is I told him there's a way in a matter of desire. There's a lustful desire where you really want it, and a need where the unhealthy type, and then there's the natural one. So when, just like I was hearing Nikolai teach about a beam, and of course everyone's energetic practices are unique for them, of course. And sometimes I even go around and go like this, and the beam will pick up different colors if you want to have the beam there by your awareness. So same thing with him. So I'm just like, just scan across, just like when you have the blindfold and you start off like this and you can see your hand, do it in the dark blanket, and you start to see more through the blindfold, because really the blindfold is an illusion. Like Matrix, there is no spoon.
Yeah.
And once we start to see like that, it's like you're really seeing through the third eyes, or those windows of our head that matter. So I'm like, just see the cross, like you tell a kid to do it, and it would just happen like that. That makes sense. Just going forward, doing it.
Yeah. I remember when we did one experiment where I was wearing the mask and then we put a blanket. And I remember when I was trying to see what was behind the blanket. And at first, all I could see was black. It was like my consciousness said, okay, this is where it is. And I couldn't see past that. And it took a long time. And I told Rob to just keep talking. And as he did, then all of a sudden I went past the blanket and saw what it was. And I actually saw him walk across the room to put the next card in through the mask and through the blanket. So it's interesting because at first it was just all I saw was black. It was like my conscience said, I can't get past that. So it was really interesting.
It is. And one more thing as well, in that same video, I don't know if you watched it all the way through, but on there, I asked the lady to tell me anything that you want. And she's like, okay, what was the last meal that I ate? And I described pasta to her. And then I said, let me do another one. And I'm like, how about maybe a family member that came down and visit you? I'm like, her name's Lisa. And she's like, yeah, well, we'll see if you can get where she's from. I said 3 hours south. And it was actually from the location we were at, it was 3 hours and 1 minute. And it was from Miami. And I'm like, she stayed for 2 weeks. This is what happened. So then we start going to the timeless realm, but you still carry that feeling of that blindfold. You ever have your eyes, of course, open, and you remember what it feels like